3, 2, and 1. Boom. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back for the 2019 Formula 1 season.
Season 2 of the BackMarkers F1 Show.
Can't wait.
Oh, it's about time, isn't it?
Absolutely. If you guys are watching for the first time or for the 35th time, I'm Chris Cato. I'm joined by Tyler McDonald. Unfortunately, Shaker, our engineer and our tech guru, he's away with family for this weekend, so he'll be rejoining us next week for our second review of F1 testing. But I've gotten a lot of messages on Twitter. People have been asking, when are you doing the next podcast? When is the first one coming out? So we're delivering here.
Yeah, keeping to our promise. And what an exciting last couple weeks it's been for our show here. I mean, going to the F1 car launch for Racing Points, hands down, one of the coolest experiences I've ever had. And just the shots we got, how close we were to the drivers, pretty much, inches away from the car at points. And to see the people that we met there. We met a couple new fans that were down there. And we also, of course, as you guys saw, got a nice interview with David Croft. So all in all, a fantastic experience. And just want to mention to the Racing Point media guys and really everyone at Racing Point F1, thank you so much for letting us come down and do some shooting there. What a fantastic event that they held. Very professional. They treated us very nice. The food was delicious. So just a big thank you to the Racing Point guys.
Yeah, they were very communicative. Honestly, I was a bit surprised we even got it approved.
I know, me too.
As kind of a small but growing YouTube channel, you're always not sure whether they're going to accept the YouTubers, so to speak. So they were very friendly. Like I said, they responded to emails very quickly. So yeah, I echo the same thoughts. Yeah. So thank you to those guys. And yeah, I feel the same way, man. It was a lot of fun. Almost a year to the date that we started the channel, and now we were there at the launch of a Formula 1 car. And
of a Formula 1 team, a brand new team.
Yeah, owned by Canadian owners and the Canadian drivers. So it was kind of surreal. And to be, I've been to a lot of races, but I've never been so close to an F1 car, a modern Formula 1 car, almost to the point where you could reach out and touch it. So I think that's maybe one of the reasons why we missed talking to one of the drivers, just because we were kind of in awe of the car, and we stood there for almost 30 minutes. But it was good because we ended up snagging Crofty when he came back in.
Yeah, he just came down and was talking to a few guys and was nice enough to do a quick little interview with us. And the reaction we got from the video, you guys seemed to love what he said. And, I mean, everything he did say was pretty on point, as usual, from David Croft. New team for Racing Point, the investment. It'll be interesting to see how they develop the car now this year with the new regulations. They have a big influx in money. They kept the pink, which a lot of fans love, and I think a very well looking car. We'll get into the livery designs in a little bit, but all in all, that was a fun interview with David Croft. And of course, we'd missed the drivers, Checo and Lance Stroll. But who knows? Maybe we'll be able to catch up with them later on this season.
Yeah, it'll come one day. We'll be speaking to some of the drivers, I'm sure. But I was impressed with Crofty. I mean, we obviously hear him every race, but you kind of don't see his personality as the play-by-play guy.
Yeah,
sometimes.
What a great guy.
But yeah, just a tremendous guy. A lot of personality. Very, very nice. Very polite. We gave him his card, and he thanked us. He wished us good luck, and also he wanted you to pick a location in Montreal.
I don't know. I don't go to Montreal. You're lucky you came up with a place after the interview.
It was too late,
when cameras weren't rolling. But he caught me there. I didn't know what. I don't go to Montreal often. If I go to Montreal, I go see the Impact play and drive home that day.
I loved your I actually liked your response when you're like, I can tell you where to go to Ottawa.
Yeah, I don't know. That's all I can tell you. Where is Ottawa?
But I'm definitely going to hold him to that promise.
Yeah.
So come time in June, David Croft, if you're listening, we're making an appointment and hope you
We'd love to grab dinner with you. And where is it? Joe Beef, you said?
Joe Beef, that's
Joe
right.
Beef in Montreal. So hopefully we have some more David Croft for you this year.
Yeah, we'll set the date. But if you guys haven't seen the rest of our videos, it's up on our channel. We create a separate playlist, Racing Point F1 Launch 2019. We also put up the Q&A with the drivers, just the general launch highlights, and also our vlog of how we got there. And it's unfortunate Shaker's not here because we got to give Shaker a lot of credit for getting us there safely.
Good driving by him.
One of the worst storms in, I think, Toronto history. That's how they dubbed it. It was like 30, 40 centimeters of snow driving from
And
Ottawa.
It was blowing, too. Like, it was windy. It was freezing rain at one point. It was not the greatest drive at all.
But I tell you what, he made it there smooth. We didn't have one sketchy issue.
No, there was that one guy. Remember, he was going like 40 kilometers an hour on the highway.
Yeah,
the highway's obviously 100 in Canada.
Kilometers
an hour. So 62, 65 miles an hour in this if you're into that stuff. So I don't know what 40 kilometers an hour is in miles per hour. I mean, like 25.
25, something like that.
He was going slow, and he was like, holy jeez, like, relax, guy, get off the road.
Yeah, and to give you guys sort of a picture, from Ottawa to Toronto, what is it, about 500 kilometers or a little bit less?
It averages out if you're in the dry, you know, got some nice tires on, averages out to a 4-hour drive. But I think that's like basically how do you get from like London up to Newcastle? It's a 4-hour drive. I could be wrong for UK listeners listening. Like, roast me in the comments for getting that geography wrong, but I think it's about the same.
Yeah. And I think we made it in about, what, 5.5?
5.5 with a snowstorm, which is really good.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to take us like 7.
Yeah, so in that vlog, you kind of can see a little bit of the conditions that that we had to drive through. So
but yeah, there's some cool other videos that are up if you guys haven't checked out that we did. A lot of effort went into those, a lot of man hours. So we really appreciate you checking those things out. I think you guys would enjoy them as well. Just an up-close view of the new car.
Yep, it was a lot of fun, and I'm glad we did it. So moving away from the Racing Point launch, we had obviously all of the cars being revealed earlier in the week before that we left, and during the week, a lot of the cars were actually being revealed while we were there in Toronto. So we'll take a look at them.
Do you want to start with Racing Point since we're on there?
We'll start with Racing Point. Yeah, we can definitely do that.
I feel like that's a nice transition. Obviously, first overall impressions, glad they kept the pink. And the one thing that we both noticed, though, for American fans that are listening, because I don't think there's any of these stores in Europe, but right on the nose, you can see it. What almost looks like a bullseye logo, and that's their official logo. But it also is the exact same logo as Target, a big superstore in the States. It's closed here in Canada too. So we were kind of curious, like, are they sponsored by Target or are they ripping off their logo? We don't know the answer.
Yeah, because if you see on the halo,
yeah, they've got a different color kind of scheme.
Yeah, so but the one on the nose is a direct copy of that logo.
100%.
So I'm not really sure. I haven't heard anything of people coming out and kind of making that comparison, but you would think that the marketing people would kind of be aware of that type of stuff. So,
but other than that, it's a beautiful looking car. The blue, there was more blue than I thought there would be, but I think they blended in well. I think it's a very nice looking car, kind of classic newer Force India to now Racing Point.
Right. Yeah, the blue mixed in a little well, and just looking at sort of the specifications of the car. Of course, when we were in Toronto, it was still the 2018 car with the new front wing,
new rear wing.
Yeah,
and I think whatever the new halo is. I don't think it's a new halo, but I think it's slanted a little different. I don't know, I could be wrong.
There's I think it's just a bit different designs in terms of the arrow, but like the new front wing sort of pops out to me, sort of that the little fangs and the gaps there at the front. Sort of looks like the 2014 Lotus. They sort of had that design in the early hybrid days, and
I want to get into comparing front wings later in this episode, because there's a drastic difference between what Ferrari and Alfa are running to what Mercedes and a couple other teams are running as well.
Yeah.
But we'll get into that later.
So let's look at the next one here. So Haas, I'm going to have you describe Haas while I go grab my battery charger.
Fair enough.
It's a preseason. We're still working it out.
Preseason, not a big deal. Haas, I was a little surprised with the livery change that they went with the black and gold and stepped away from their what was red, white, and black. But, of course, Rich Energy came in as the main sponsor. Never really heard of them until now. We went and checked online. They're expensive, those energy drinks. They're like $100 for a 24-pack. Or I think is that what it was, right?
Yeah, it was around that when we looked it up.
Yeah, it was a lot of money. Or it ended up being I think it ended up being I don't know. It was more expensive than we thought it would be. But I guess they're trying to compete with Red Bull. Good luck for them. That's gonna be tough to do. But the livery in general looks very nice and sleek. Black and gold. Reminds me of course, Lotus back in the day, who ran the black and gold.
Yeah.
But all in all, a decent looking car. They did a good job. I mean, there's nothing that pops out, but there's no flaws in it either.
Yeah, it was so funny. The Rich Energy CEO is kind of an eccentric character, and the Rich Energy Twitter account after the first couple days of testing, when Haas had some good showings, they were like, phenomenal performance in winter testing by our drivers. We're pushing to be better than Red Bull and all this stuff. But I heard a couple fans online were saying they can't really even buy Rich Energy in stores.
Yeah, I've never seen it. I have to buy it online, I think.
Yeah, and everybody's like, where can you buy this stuff? Red Bull, Monster, the other energy drinks
Red
you
Bull,
can buy.
they have people in backpacks that come to parties randomly.
They're a huge brand.
Yeah, they're easy to use. They have cars. They have those Mini Coopers with the big Red Bull on top.
Yeah. So I don't know if they're, but apparently they're like, we've produced 90 million cans, but you can't really find it in stores.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, if they want to send us some to try out, like, for sure, we'll
Yeah.
try out Rich Energy. We'll
you sponsor?
yeah, you can sponsor us too. Yeah, we'll do a review for you guys if you want to toss us some cans.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd be curious to try it.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
What do you have up next?
We got Toro Rosso up next.
This is probably for me the most disappointing one because it's an exact replica of last year's. Not that a team needs to change their livery every year drastically, but in saying that, I would like to see a little bit of a difference. But there was none at all. So, like, it's not a bad livery. It's just I don't know. I didn't think they did anything good. And I don't really, that red stripe on the side looks really, really awkward.
It does. I don't know if you've seen the race suits with the drivers, but they're a little bit of a darker blue in the middle, and that looks good. So they could have maybe done the car the same way, but
well, I liked it when they did back when like Max and Sainz were racing for Toro Rosso. They had that dark navy deep blue, and they had some gold and red to it, and it looked really, really good.
Yeah.
And now they changed this silver and to lighter blue. And I don't know, I don't like it as much as they used to, but I think if they made that red stripe look a little more appetizing, it would look a lot better. And did something with the halo. The halo's boring.
It seems a bit weird because there's not that much red.
No,
so
it's
you
like a
sorta gotta
weird
balance
racing
it out.
stripe.
Kind of with the Racing Point, if they would have maybe added a little more blue, it could have even looked even better.
Yeah.
But I'm a fan, honestly, of the halo matching the base color of the car.
Yeah, I don't like to see any kind of design on it.
No, it's not so much the design, but it blends in better.
Yeah.
I don't notice the halo as much if it's the same color as the main base of the
that's
car.
a good point.
And we'll get to that when we get to Ferrari because they've changed that. But yeah, other than that, their front wing, it's a bit different than the likes of Force India and Racing Point. You can kind of see when I zoom in here these little inlets. It's funny. They're like, we've simplified the front wings.
No, McLaren had that last year too.
Did they?
Yeah. Or something around that. But obviously those winglets are doing something to the car.
And you can see around the suspension and the barge boards, there's just a lot less things going on than in 2018. So in that terms, yes, it has been simplified, but
I
it's
think
still
they're breaking down between what it used to be with 7 different breakdowns in the front wing. It's now 4 or 5. So we're going to move 2 to 3 breakdowns. And that's, I mean, obviously it's supposed to help the aeroflow, right? And
yeah.
I mean, we won't know for sure until we suit up in Australia.
Yeah, that's right.
And Australia's a tough spot to overtake, so we shouldn't judge right away.
Probably after Australia,
I'd say China.
Bahrain. Yeah, for sure. Next one, we got McLaren. What are your initial thoughts? I think they've pretty much kept it the same roughly in terms of the livery, added a little more blue and
their
the
race
orange.
suits. Have you seen their race suits?
Yeah,
They're
very bright.
Yeah, I love them. Go for it. I like the kind of weird number design they got going too. It's a little slanted, pixelated. A lot more sponsors on the car this year too than previous years, so they're getting maybe a little more money. McLaren finding some sponsors that will actually, put some money into the team. But really nice looking car from McLaren. Nice orange, and I think if it's too bad we don't have a side view of it. They've got like a checkerboard blue to orange side on the, I guess on the engine cover it would be.
Yeah.
And it looks very, very good. Different than what they did. See, that's what I like. Like, it's the same kind of element, but little subtle changes like that keeps it fresh. You know what year the race is in, you know who's driving. So I think it was a good little change from McLaren.
Yeah, I like that too. When you just sort of keep it the same, but you're going to add a little different element that sort of makes it stand out.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can kind of see it. I think this is the base one, right? Or this was a better
That's
shot.
A good one.
Here.
Yeah, that's a good shot.
Pretty slow, but yeah, you can see the little blue addition to
triangles, not checkered.
Yeah,
triangles, but I think it looks good.
Yep. Yeah, and like you said, more sponsors this year on the car, which is good. And when we were there in Toronto, we could obviously, it was at the auto show, we saw a lot of the McLarens there.
Yeah.
And they've put a lot of effort and money into that side of their build, the road car build of the McLaren
we saw
cars.
that Senna. Oh, the Senna.
Tremendous cars.
God, it looks beautiful.
But because of that, the F1 team has suffered. So I'm not sure if they're shifting their priorities a little bit, but we'll get into McLaren and those predictions in the coming weeks. So next we got Renault, which kind of like Toro Rosso, not much going on.
No, not much going on. They kept it the same as last year, but in saying that, they could keep it the same as last year because that's a fantastic looking car. I think it was one of the best looking ones on the grid last year, and they didn't need to change too much, and they didn't change too much, and I think it just looks really good. I think they have a good kind of flow to their banana car that they roll out. Yeah,
I'm not mad at it at all. Nothing really different than it was last year. I just wanted to quickly go back actually to McLaren. It's interesting that how radically they've changed their nose from last season.
Yeah.
And it looks more like Mercedes.
Yeah, it does. You're right.
For this season. So we'll see if that works out for them. But, with Renault, we've just kind of come accustomed to that yellow and black. And it looks good.
It looks
like
good.
you said.
Yeah, I'm not worried about it.
I'm still a big fan of the old Renault Fernando Alonso days
with the blue. That's
but
sponsorships. Though,
yeah, it was sponsorship. Right? So, Renault looks good. And next we got Ferrari, which...
Big change this year for Ferrari.
Arguably the best looking car of 2019 because the biggest thing for them is they went with a matte red paint.
Yeah, instead of a shinier, which we used to go to.
And it's not just for looks, it's actually performance. They think that they've shaved off a couple of grams going to matte paint, which they think they can help in lap time.
I mean, leave it to Ferrari to do that.
Yeah.
Really like the change. Of course, the biggest change this year, there's no white on the car. It's black, and that's to do with the sponsorship of Mission. They lost Santander, I guess,
2 years ago
2
now?
years ago now. Last year, they didn't have any main sponsor. Or this year, Mission came in. I don't really know what Mission is.
It's like Mission Win Now, but it's all one word. I don't really know much about them, to be honest with you.
Oh, I see. I see how that works.
It's like Win Now, but it's all wrote
I'd never noticed that until... Well, that's pretty cool.
They came on last year, I think, in the Japanese Grand Prix, but
yeah, they came on later on, but it was white.
Yeah.
But this year they went with the black on it, and that is a poster-worthy car, minus the halo. It's a poster-worthy car. It looks fantastic, and I think one of the best, if not the best-looking one on the grid this year. And a very different front wing, as you can see. It's more flared out to the center compared to other cars that are flared out to the winglets. Or sorry, I shouldn't say that. What's the edge of the wing called? I know it. End plates.
End plates. Yes.
Figured it out.
Almost said side pod.
Not that. And yeah, so like it's more flared up toward the middle, whereas a couple other front wings, especially Mercedes, have it flared out toward the end plate. So we'll see which one. We'll know quickly which one works better.
Yeah, and so far it seems to be working for Ferrari.
Yeah.
And obviously we haven't touched too much upon the rear wing yet, which we can talk about during testing, but it's just massive when you see it on the back straight with the DRS open. Holy.
Well, Ricardo had his fly off.
Yeah.
We'll get into that.
Yeah, for sure. But and this is what I was talking about with the halo. I just would have liked if they would have kept the halo red. It just blends in with the car better like it was in 2018.
I don't know. I like the black on it.
Yeah?
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, I don't know. For me, I just like the fact that the base is red. It takes my eyes away from how ugly the halo is, and it just helps it blend in better with the car.
Yeah, but the red is very bright, where a black kind of, I feel like it actually blends in more.
It doesn't ruin the car just because it still looks fantastic. But and also, I don't know if you noticed this, but Pirelli added a sort of a gloss to their tires.
Oh, did they?
So they're very shiny now when you see them in person. Some of these photos aren't the best resolution, so it's difficult to tell. But when the tires are fresh and just put on the car, they have this glossy finish to them.
I wonder if that's to keep them warmer.
I have no idea.
Keep heating them? Because there was a lot of trouble last year with keeping heating tires for a lot of teams. So I wonder if that's the... who knows?
Maybe.
I know Hamilton was using some prototype tires.
Yeah. What was that all about?
I don't know. I guess a Pirelli tire test.
I didn't know you were allowed that.
Well, it's testing.
Speaking of which, and I just got to say, I didn't say this off the top of the show. I wore my Mercedes hat.
Oh, that's what I was gonna call you out for.
Oh yeah,
and
okay.
I forgot. You're wearing a Mercedes hat but Ferrari headphones.
That's
It's
right.
very interesting. I mean, we're not impartial on the podcast, so
Right.
like,
I'm the Drake of Formula One.
yeah, that's very true. That's very true. But no, you got that hat. The auto show we were at. We all wanted the hat, but obviously, not all of us are gonna buy the same hat.
Yeah, I got it because so many people were commenting, especially on our Verstappen video that got 50K views. It was like, look at this Red Bull fanboy, even though I was wearing a Ricardo hat. So I said, you know what? I'll buy a Mercedes hat.
And you did.
And now I got the top 3 teams looking to get the rest of them. So there you go. And so Mercedes car.
I think that's up there again with the best looking car on the grid. I think it's between them and Ferrari, but they not completely changed it up, but they added a beautiful kind of fade to black. What do you call that? I don't know. There's a word for it. Anyways, it looks really good, and they have like what looks like kind of diamonds or stars on the black as well, which look phenomenal. And I like the green, teal, turquoise. I guess that's actually turquoise. Is a lot brighter this year and flows with the car nicely. Kind of reminds me of what a wind tunnel looks like, with the smoke going through a wind tunnel over the car, and it kind of makes it look more aerodynamic. It just visually looks more aerodynamic than other cars because of how it is. Phenomenal job by the paint guys over there.
I was surprised by it because I'm like, well, what are they going to do really to change? It's sort of been the same livery for the last couple seasons, but I like the more how the teal stands out more this season than it has in the other seasons.
Yeah.
It's looked really good, and that addition, sort of when you can see here near the rear wing where the engine cover is. Yeah, that little design there's a little bit of hint
it's
of
the
blue.
Mercedes logos.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, I can see that now. Yeah. I think
Oh, well, that makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, so that's a really nice touch, and the car looks just fantastic. So for me, I think they've done a pretty good job in reinventing the livery, but still keeping the traditional look of it.
Yeah.
And I like it.
Yeah, phenomenal.
I'd still rank Ferrari ahead of them, but they're probably in my top 3.
Yeah, they're definitely in my top 3, not top 2.
All right, who else we got? Not that. This is the front view of the Mercedes. Yeah.
See what I mean by the front wings here? See how it's more flared up toward the end plate with the Mercedes, where the Ferrari was the complete opposite. I'm really interested to see how that's going to play out this year.
Yeah. There's a lot actually on the arrow between Ferrari and Mercedes, and we saw a lot through week 1, which we'll cover just in a few minutes.
We did, yeah.
Alfa Romeo, no longer Sauber, fully Alfa Romeo Racing. And, this livery grew on me. I know last year you said this was one of your favorite liveries and how nice it was. And at the time, I didn't really like it, but it grew on me through the season. And now I think that this livery is just very gorgeous. In the nature of how simple it is, how elegant it is, which I think is the brand of Alfa Romeo.
Yeah, I think last year I said it was my favorite.
I think so.
I think it was my top livery. And they didn't change much. A couple things here and there. But they just did it. Alpha's always known to look nice, so they're visually appealing cars. Well, same thing here. They have to make it visually appealing. They did a really good job, Alpha, at keeping that kind of same look. And not much to say. Big number 7 on top.
Kimmy.
He was pumping out lap times.
I was about to say too, the sort of the shockwaves.
And I also want to notice here, see how they have an aggressive front wing too, kind of like Ferraris. Theirs is even more aggressive than Ferraris. And look, this is only Alpha has this. And I wonder if they're onto something here. Usually you see in their top winglet, I guess you can say, on their front wing is massive. It's almost like 2 combined into 1, and then it splits near the nose. And no other team has that. I wonder if they kind of saw something and said, "Oh, here we go. Here's a little advantage." And they were running that, and if teams catch on to that, because no one's ever done that before, it looks very interesting.
The team principal, they were worried when initially they were coming out with the launches, and they didn't really see this sort of design with other teams. So they were kind of like, "Did we mess this up? Did we make a mistake?" And then we've seen in the first couple of days of testing, it doesn't seem like they have made a mistake at all.
I think they might have become geniuses.
They might have gotten it right, it's sort of in a way that Braun GP got it right in 2009, where they just, I'm not saying that they're going to win the championship, but they could potentially be in the running for 4th in the constructors, maybe even higher. We won't get that far just yet, but
Yeah, it's only 1 week of testing,
Yeah.
right? But
early indications are that Alfa Romeo look really strong this season.
yeah, and so yeah, it'll be interesting to see if other teams catch on and start using their design for front wings.
Yeah, there's still some time, obviously,
But
before Australia.
We don't know. So there's 4 different kinds of front wings that people are running, which is, I mean, not like what we saw years before.
Yeah, it could shake things up, I think, this year.
I think so.
Hopefully. Red Bull, of course, they released that special livery the same day that Racing Point launched, but unfortunately they do this every year, but they don't keep that. I don't know why
they do it.
Why waste the
they don't
money?
even run it during testing.
Yeah, it's a bit weird to me. They ran like the camo livery a few years ago in testing, but I don't know. Maybe it's just some sort of a design thing, catch some eyes during the launch, but they've kept the same Red Bull branding. Of course, it's a beautiful livery.
It is a really nice livery.
I believe they got rid of the matte paint, though, for this season.
Oh, so they did the opposite of
I think
Ferrari?
so. Because I think the year before or in 2017, they had sort of a matte finish on the car. And I don't think that they have that this season. But, yeah, other than that, in terms of the livery itself, really no different changes.
No, the big thing that they have different than everyone else is on the nose, they kind of have a scoop, but going the other way. Right by the number. So
and they have
obviously air goes through the nose on the bottom, and I think it comes out, it goes different directions, I'm sure, but it comes out the top there, and I wonder if that has to do with they figured out some aerodynamics with the halo and sending more air to the rear wing, because obviously that's the way it would go. I mean, I'm no engineer, but if I'm just using common sense here.
I think we sound pretty smart in this episode.
I know, eh?
Well, they got Adrian Newey on their team, and that's the guy you want when you're designing an F1 car. And so far, they seemed like they've got it right. And when the aero regulations were coming in, people were saying that, Red Bull is the team to watch because that's usually a strong suit of the car, the aero, the chassis.
Yeah.
And the Honda engine looks very
looks good.
up to par this season. So, yeah, not much changes in Red Bull in terms of the look of the car. And
McLaren decided to be the guinea pigs for 3 years until Honda figured it out, and then now look at it.
And last but definitely least, we have Williams. And they've obviously got the new title sponsor in Rocket.
Rocket.
I'm not.
I don't know what it is.
Not sure how you pronounce that. And so they've gone with a different look of the car. They still have the white and blue.
Yeah, it looks really nice. I don't mind it at all. Gradient is the word I was looking for the Mercedes. Just popped in the head now because they have a bit of it as well. It's a more sharper gradient towards white, going toward that sky blue. You call it? Is that sky blue?
Sure.
I don't know. It's a different blue.
Blue.
It's a Williams blue.
Williams blue. There we go.
It's a nice looking car. Of course, they've had some issues with manufacturers of parts not sending them in time. I don't know how you manage that. And it might be on the manufacturers. Like Williams haven't come out and said anything. It might be on the actual manufacturers who make the brakes or whatever was missing. But it's an F1 team. Like, how do you know the dates? How do you not have that ready to go? And I mean, they were doing their kind of installation drive run laps while their teams were going full tilt. I mean, we saw. I guess we can start getting into the first week of testing now.
Yeah.
We saw the scariest moment so far this season in Lewis Hamilton barreling down on Robert Kubica and had to lock up his brakes and take the long way around to avoid a very slow Williams that was kind of doing its installation lap, figuring out, hey, does everything work on this car?
I like Kubica even more when he did that.
I know, yeah, just I'm not moving.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was very interesting. Of course, they didn't get many times in. Didn't miss the first 2 days of testing. They got George Russell got 23 laps in on day 3. And I think day 4, Kubica got like 40 laps in.
Yeah, they're at the bottom of the timing list in terms of the overall.
I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, no surprise there.
They probably didn't even have their engine revved up all the way.
No, like I said, like you were saying, it was more of just a shakedown.
Like
just
they're
to
not
make sure
going to be 4
everything
seconds
works.
slower than a Toro Rosso.
I hope not.
I hope not, at least for their sake.
It was rough. Yeah, they didn't go until Wednesday, so I was following up on Twitter with different people who were kind of reporting what was going on, and they were trying not to blame it on anybody, so they were kind of cautious
they're
not
being
to.
Nice. Williams is they're nice people.
I think they're really trying to keep the team together. Unfortunately, it seems like Williams will be at the very back of the grid again for this season. I hope that's not the case, but I mean, like you said, when you don't have the car ready for the first
someone has to be at
test-
the back of the grid, though, right? Like, none of these teams probably deserve to be at the back of the grid, but someone has to be. You just don't want someone. You want the back of the grid to be still competitive, getting points. You don't want to have
like last year.
like last year, or a Caterham or a Marussia who just can't even compete. Like, why are you out on the track?
Exactly. I'm curious what the second week of testing will bring for them.
Yeah.
Can they run a full 4 days?
Especially day 3 and 4.
Yeah.
Day 3 and 4 will be really telling of what times they're putting out, because at that point you got to start pumping some lap times out to see if you're going to be competitive at all. What changes you need to be made? What are other teams doing that you're not?
The first 2 days have to be busy for them, just getting
Yeah.
consistent runs in. Obviously, I don't really think lap time is even that much of a focus at this point.
I think the first 2 days you're trying to get 200 laps of that.
Well, in terms of
I guess
reliability,
150.
yeah. Well, I think like your day 3 and 4, you could maybe try and put on the softer compound and see what kind of maybe qualifying sim you have. But I also don't know do they have any issues with the car? I mean, did they just scramble to get it together?
Yeah.
So I think they have to just run that car the first 2 days just to make sure all systems are working properly. Do their long runs, and then maybe the last day or last 2 days they can try and see what their relative pace is. But they just need to get on track. I think first and foremost, we're looking at some of the numbers of other teams of how many laps that they did, and they haven't even cracked 150 yet. So
No, I don't think they cracked 100 laps.
no, I don't think so.
Which, like, Vettel did 160 one day.
On one day, yeah, I know. Yeah, it sucks, man. But we'll see what happens with Williams and
Does
what
Ferrari have
comes
the
out.
most laps? No, Mercedes does by just a bit. You have it up there.
Ferrari has in terms of the manufacturers though.
Oh, okay.
So by power unit, Ferrari
because
has done
Williams
the most.
has nothing, and Racing Point didn't do much either, actually,
Yeah.
for Mercedes. So that brings them down. It's 2 teams, so you could say that's about 400 laps. So you put 400 laps on 946, you're pretty close to Ferrari.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Ferrari was first with 1,486. Then the surprise of all, Honda, 957 laps. They completed the second most laps in the first week of testing. So that's being powered the Red Bull and the Toro Rosso. And then Mercedes third, Renault in fourth. So, yeah, like you said, with more of the Mercedes teams like Racing Point running, they would have probably been up there with Ferrari. So, let's see. So, let's start with Mercedes. First 2 days, and then sort of in the first half of the last, what was that, day 3, they were pretty quiet. They were down in the timesheets. They were running the harder compound tires.
But they're known for that.
I know.
They don't turn it on until week 2.
Yeah, that's what I was going to get to. Is that I think they were sandbagging probably.
Because every year we go through this like, oh, Mercedes, no, maybe they're falling back this year. And then they pipe it up during the second week of testing. Like, oh, there they are. It's going to be more of the same this year. I think they kind of have a system that they really like that's been clearly working for them. And they're just going to continue it. So I'd expect them to be phenomenal in week 2 testing.
Some people are saying that they are slightly behind Ferrari, maybe a few tenths here and there.
Yeah, I was listening to a couple of experts talk, and they were saying that Ferrari has a slight edge over the rest of the field.
But they also said that Red Bull is on
that last
pace.
year too, though.
Yeah, I know. But you never know. But he said that Red Bull is also might be on pace with Mercedes this season as well. Red Bull looked really good. Of course, they were very happy with the new Honda partnership.
Yeah.
Able to get in a lot of laps. The power was good. The balance of the car going in through the high speed, the low speed corners looks really good. That front end, which is kind of the trademark of the Red Bull, sticking to the track really well. So Red Bull seems like they're going to be up there. I know Gasly had a couple of spins early on.
Yeah. But getting used to the car again, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. Just looking at where they finished in terms of the fastest times, they were much farther down the field, but with the harder compound tire.
Yeah.
Gasly and Verstappen behind the Haas's there as well. So I expect them to probably turn it up for the second week as well. But their long run pace looks really good, which is a positive for them. And of course, I think the big news is that the Honda engine can give them enough power and has been reliable as to this point. So we'll see how that continues. Ferrari first 2 days looked really good.
Yep.
Charles Leclerc looked like he's fitting in really well with Ferrari.
Yeah. Wow.
It's still weird, isn't it?
It is weird. Before the podcast, I was like, oh, Leclerc, like Alpha. And I was like, well, no, that's not right. I need to make sure I don't say that on air because to remember, like, second season and he's already with the big team. So curious to see how he does this year. It looks like he's fitting in well, though. Yeah, I mean, not much to say about him. He's phenomenal, isn't he?
He did 200.
257 laps on day 2.
Yeah, 292 in total. In comparison with Vettel, who did 303. So almost the same.
Almost the same.
They're going to be splitting days in the first day and I believe the second day as well. So it's going to be pretty busy for Ferrari. But we'll cover more of Charles Leclerc in our preview of the season because he's so interesting heading into the season. Second season of Formula One now with Ferrari. Probably a chance at the title if everything goes well for him.
Second year? I guess Lewis did it too. But
True. Yeah. I mean, a lot of people are writing Vettel off, but I don't think
you can't write Vettel off.
Can't do that.
He's always phenomenal.
Absolutely. So
I mean, he finds a way to bottle it as of late, but
did you see when he spun the first day? It was like, whoa, nothing's changed.
I was yeah, here we go again.
Yeah. Poor old Ferrari boys, but they seem like they might have their stuff together for this season.
Yeah.
You got the what was the gentleman's name? Matteo.
Oh yeah, the new guy.
Yeah.
Matteo Italian.
Something.
Yeah.
I think it's like Benotto or I think he's
something like that. Yeah.
They got rid of Arriva Bene, so
which I feel bad for Arriva Bene. It's not his fault. Poor guy.
But it sounds like within the team, they're going to be a lot more open to the media. With this new sort of leadership that they have, they're going to be a bit more sort of friendlier. I mean, Ferrari's very closed off, especially with Arriva Bene and the last few years. So, I mean, a lot of pressure is on them, but it seems like as of now, in the first week of testing, they're the best team at the moment.
Yeah.
And like we mentioned before, Alfa Romeo, for me, was the most impressive team of week 1, considering where Alfa Romeo / Sauber were 2 years ago using an old Ferrari engine, dead last in both the Constructors' Championship, Drivers' Championship as well. They really just came out and I think surprised everybody with that new front wing that we mentioned, the strong, powerful Ferrari engine in the back, and an old yet somewhat still youthful Kimi Räikkönen showing he still got it.
I think he's going to be even more youthful this year because like he's with Alfa, so it doesn't really give a crap, I don't think.
Yeah, no politics, no BS.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's a breath of fresh air for him. He seems like he's really enjoying it. Even Giovinazzi, for me, was he had a couple of sort of rough outings in free practices for Sauber a few years ago when he crashed and he spun. But he seemed like he had it all together in testing. So
a couple of years of maturing, too. And, I mean, what better kind of mentor than Kimi?
Yeah, he won't say much, but...
No, but if you're... Well, I think he will behind the scenes. I think if you're Giovinazzi, you're going to be in a better scenario. You have a strong, what looks like a strong car with one of the best drivers of all time.
Yeah.
As your kind of mentor. That's perfect. I'd be loving it. And you get to joke around with Kimi all day.
Yeah, the Iceman.
Even better.
Yeah. He set the fastest time on, what was it, day 3?
Day 3, yeah, he was second fastest, but he was only behind Kvyat by 5/100ths.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, Kvyat piped that lap in the very last second.
Which, I mean... Still get a reckon. He was 5th fastest on day 1.
Mm-hmm.
And Giovinazzi was 5th fastest on day 2. So consistently running fast lap times.
And Räikkönen had the overall in the 4 days, the 4th fastest time on what was one of the softer compounds of tires, which, I mean, thanks for complicating it even more.
C5, I think is the softest.
So that's it, like C5.
But it's only going to be complicated for testing like this because then eventually it's just going to be the 3 compounds and whatever they roll out they give it.
I saw it the first day and I'm like,
I don't know, I kind of almost like I almost kind of like the colors better. I can figure out what's going on.
Yeah, I don't know, we just got used to it, right?
Yeah,
I'm sure we'll get used to this quickly. Toro Rosso, again, another surprise for me because of the Honda engine seemed to back them up, but Alex Albon, the new driver, I didn't really know much about him, didn't really know what to expect. The first run that he had, he spun in like the 3rd or 4th corner. Even he was saying, he's like, the one thing I didn't want to do was spin
on the first lap.
Yeah,
he did.
Exactly, and that's what he did. But he really regained the confidence after that and set the second fastest time overall, I believe, on day 4. And Danny Kvyat also right behind him, 3rd fastest time in week 1 of testing. So Kvyat, obviously we know he's got the F1
torpedoes
back. He's back.
This will be fun.
He'll be strong this season.
Yeah, he will be. I'm sure he's settled down a bit.
Yeah, the year or 2 he had off to mature. The way he handled his departure too, sort of not burning that bridge.
But if he gets demoted again, we know Max is going to win. Like Max can be in shot for another win this year.
Yeah, that's right. It won't happen though.
No, it won't happen.
No, unfortunately, we won't get.
Well,
any
not saying that
torpedoes.
Max won't win. We're saying that Kvyat won't get demoted again. Max is probably going to win a race this year, but
I would hope so.
I would hope so.
We got so many Dutch fans. What are we going to talk about?
I know, right? That's true. We got to get them the party going. What do they do? They have okay, Dutch fans, let us know. What do you guys celebrate with, like, alcohol wise? Is there a certain drink that you guys have? Is there like a Max Verstappen drink? Is there a certain like liqueur that you guys are known for?
Like the rich energy of
Yeah, like let us
Holland.
know, because like obviously like there's like Dutch snobs or something like that, but I don't know if that's a actual thing.
hit up Tyler. He wants to know.
Yeah, I want to know, because I'll, you know what, if Max wins and you guys let us know what the Max Verstappen celebratory drink is, I'll have one on
We'll
set.
buy him on air. Beautiful.
I'll have one on set.
It's a good idea.
Yeah,
Awesome.
keep me to that promise too. We'll wear something orange too.
Well, there you
I'll
go.
wear an orange.
You're
Hey,
already covered.
look
You're
at
so
that.
biased.
I know, eh?
Such a biased
So
show,
biased. Jeez. I'm actually biased with McLaren up next, or is it Renault? Sorry,
Renault.
Sorry, I jumped there.
right? That's all right.
I was trying to transition well.
Well, we could do McLaren if you want.
All right, transition to McLaren because I'm wearing orange.
What do you think of McLaren? And I mean,
they kind of were very quiet, I thought. Average. Got some laps in. Car looked good. We didn't really hear too much from them. They had a quiet testing,
I think the
which
first
is
day.
a good thing because, well, yeah, first day I think you're gonna say Sainz went second overall.
Right. And I believe day 2, right? I think
Yeah, Norris second
Norris?
overall.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, good for them. They got a lot of laps in. But when there is no news, it's usually good news, right? For McLaren.
The fact that they just ran consistently was probably good news for them. They
Yeah,
had a
probably.
fire in their garage on
Oh, did they?
Friday. They were doing some filming, and apparently there was a fire in the garage. Nobody
Nice.
was hurt too bad, I think. So maybe it's not a good omen for McLaren. But
Yeah, jeez.
considering the last few seasons, the fact that they ran consistently in testing is good. You know, Sainz and Norris being P2, again, you can't read too much into it because we're not sure if...
No, it's the first, and that was the first 2 days of testing.
Right.
Like, you really can't read into anything those 2 days. And on day 3, if you really want to do it, Sainz finished 9th in 90 laps. But I don't, like, you can't tell during testing, especially if week 1, because we don't know what fuel loads they're running. They're all on different tire sets. They're trying to figure out what's going on with their car. It's a good indication on whether like they're going to be half decent or not, but
Yeah, and just to kind of put it in perspective, Van Dorn finished P2 in one of the days last year, so... and we all know how that story
yeah,
ended.
poor guy.
Yeah.
He's Formula E right now.
Yeah, he's not doing too bad.
No, he's doing well. Actually, with the new Gen 2 cars in Formula E, the races are phenomenal.
I just can't do it.
I've watched all three races, and they're a lot of fun to watch.
I've seen so many people talking well, and I definitely believe them, but I just can't do it with the
can't do
engine
it.
noises. I can barely do F1 with these engine noises.
They're not too bad. They're not the worst. They're a different engine noise.
Yeah.
You know how you listen to a car and it's like a different kind of rev. Obviously, it's different, but it's a different noise. They're like, oh, that sounds cool. You're either for Formula E or you're completely against it. There's no in between.
Completely against it then.
There you go.
I bought F1 TV, so I was just watching all the archive
geez.
races, and when you go V10, you never go back.
Yeah,
that's all I'm
true.
gonna say.
I know.
But story for another day.
Renault?
the Bumblebees.
Yeah.
Again, same. I'm kind of the same. Not really much to say. Hulkenberg, fastest time overall. Ricardo had some decent laps.
Yeah.
Obviously had the
I mean,
DRS
they're
issue.
supposed to be really competitive this year, right? Because they're the works team now. They're only focusing on them. They're supposed to be the big wigs. No.
Yeah. Ricardo said some good things about the new regulations that it might help with overtaking and the balance feels okay. Hulkenberg said the rear wing being so big kind of feels like a parachute, so
Oh yeah.
it was difficult for him to tell with the new Renault power unit how the power is because just the rear wing is so massive.
It is big, yeah. I guess. Well, we saw during DRS, during testing, the DRS failed for Ricardo. His rear wing flap fell off, and he went for a little spin. I think he said he pooped his pants a bit. I don't blame him. I'd be doing the same. Yeah, it'll be interesting how the DRS, because if Hulkenberg's saying that it felt like a parachute, I wonder if the DRS is just going to have even greater effect this year. And will they need 3 DRS zones this year? I hope not.
I don't know.
3 was too much, I thought. 2 was fine.
Some of them, it didn't really do much.
No.
I think in the Canadian Grand Prix, it wasn't much.
Yeah,
of
they
an
had one
effect.
during a small straight, and you're like, oh,
Yeah.
what's the point?
Yeah, we want to see more overtaking under braking and not.
Yeah,
under
in
DRS.
corners and following each other.
Yeah.
And,
So that,
if you put a couple of corners well, let's say if you're in the States, you put those S's through well, and you can overtake going into that tight right-hander at the end of the S's because you can follow and set up and overtake. That's, I think, what fans want, in my mind.
and that's the whole purpose of this new regulation change, which hopefully will work.
Yeah, well, I mean, we'll see by week 5.
Yeah.
I think that's the kind of the deadline where, like, okay, this either worked or it didn't work at all. Is week 5. Because at that point, you have a bunch of different racetracks. Monaco doesn't matter. Canada's not a corner overtaking spot. It's a braking. That's how you overtake in Canada. So, well, I mean, we'll see.
Yep. Okay, or actually, we already did Williams, right? So Haas would be the last one.
Did we do Williams? Yeah, we did. We talked about how rough they looked.
Awful they were. Haas, for me, was relatively quiet this
They
week.
were.
They had a lot of sort of technical gremlins throughout the week.
A lot of electrical issues, they said,
Yeah.
that like aren't serious, that they just need to kind of hammer out.
Just kind of those annoying things that doesn't allow you to run.
Yeah.
And I think Kevin Magnussen had a seat fitting issue, which is why Fittipaldi was in the car on
Oh, is
I
that
think
what it
day
was?
2. Yeah, they had to like send him somewhere to
And Grosjean had a fire, I think, in his engine one test 2.
something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they had to take the fire extinguisher to it.
Yeah.
Something small. Like, again, it's all kind of minor issues with Haas. You just got to hope that they figure that out and don't have that now go into the season and be a reliability issue all season that they're fighting with. Because electrical issues, they can be fixed, but if you can't figure what that one problem is, that's going to hamper you big time at the start of the year.
Yeah, and they need to have a much better start to their season than last season
Yeah.
with the double retirement. And it almost seemed like that set the tone for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until mid-season where they started to finally score points consistently. So Haas is sort of that interesting team where we're not exactly sure where they're going to be, especially with Alfa Romeo looking strong, even Toro Rosso looking decent in so far in week 1. So that will all be interesting how the midfield will shake up this season. It might be even better than it was last year.
Yeah.
And big question as to whether that gap between the big 3 teams and the rest of the field will shorten up or will extend in 2019.
Or if it'll be like a 4-5 battle and then
we can only
6
hope.
to 10. We'll have to find out.
Yeah. But, like you were saying earlier, can't read too much into testing. It's just sort of an indication of who got it right and who seems to be struggling.
And there's going to be more upgrades coming next week that teams will be putting on the cars.
Now that you just mentioned it, Racing Point, that's who we forgot.
Oh, yeah.
I completely forgot Racing Point.
They're going to have a lot of upgrades coming for week 2 of testing. So I think you don't even really consider what they did this week because they didn't test a lot and really focus on what they're going to be doing next week.
I was concerned at first because of I can't even talk today. Because of the lack of laps that they put in week 1, I was like, wow, I'm disappointed. When we were there at the launch, they were very optimistic. We're aiming for 4th. Why not podiums? Why not even win the first race together?
Yeah.
And then when I saw them, I'm like, uh-oh. They're not putting in they put the second fewest laps in behind Williams.
Williams didn't even show up.
So you can almost say they put the least amount of laps in. But then it came out that, like you said, they were short on parts. They're going to have a big upgrade coming in Australia as well.
Yeah.
They had a lot of money come in through Lawrence Stroll and his team.
And Sport Pesa.
Yeah.
So that's a betting company. It's a gambling company. There's money there.
So they won't be short on parts and funding like they were last season.
Yeah.
And they did pretty well last season considering.
Yeah, they did. They finished 5th in the constructors? Or
6th maybe?
6th?
I mean, they probably would have finished 5th or 4th if they wouldn't
money.
have lost their points
Yeah.
midway through the
Yeah.
season.
That's right. That's right. So I don't even know where they finished. That's a good point. I didn't even think of that.
Yeah. So not too much to worry. I think if you're a Racing Point fan, I think now for us we're going to be paying a lot more attention to them because they're somewhat of a Canadian team, and of course Lance Stroll.
Yeah, I think especially for us in Canada. But I think F1 will be paying a little more attention to them too, saying, "Okay, if there's team has a big influx of money, what can they do here? Are they going to be investing and having a lot of upgrades and being contenders?" They kept the whole team together from last year in terms of internal and pit crews and everything like that. They kept everyone together, strategic, which I think is the best thing to do. They're a new team that isn't really a new team, are they? They're a new team that's just kind of an expansion of what they were.
Thanks in part a lot to Lawrence Stroll.
To Lawrence Stroll.
Say what you want. And this is one topic I'd want to cover a bit more in our season preview. But
it's going to be the ragging on Lance.
Yeah.
We'll say that for the season preview because
we will. Yeah,
that's a hot topic in F1 land.
Yeah, the one thing I gotta say though, I don't know if you noticed this, and if the people that watched our launch highlights maybe can also comment. Either he was sort of overwhelmed by the occasion, but he was like lost when he was answering questions.
He's always not the greatest with answering questions.
Is he?
I find his interviews, he's not a good interviewer. But I mean, that's just, you either have it or you don't.
True. He's still young. I mean, he's 2 years younger than us. What is he, 20, right?
He's 20.
21. So maybe that's part of it, but it was just funny when he was answering some questions. He was like, yeah, you pretty much just said it all there. I was like, wow. I'm like, either he's really nervous or just.
I think he was overwhelmed by it too. Like he was saying during the Q&A, if you go back and listen to it, you'll hear this. He said, I got up this morning, like, waking up at 5:30 in the morning or whatever it was that they had to start their day at. It isn't usually great, but I woke up today and I just had so much adrenaline. I was so pumped for this day. Like, this is so cool. He was like, I seemed to think he was a little overwhelmed by it too. Just like, it's home country, it's his team in part.
Must be really cool for him.
I mean, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
If I was him, I'd be loving it too.
Yeah,
he kept saying like, I'm so excited, like I just want to get in the car. And I think people forget that he has a ton of passion for F1, and I mean, he didn't get his F1 super license for no reason, right? You have to get a super license to race in Formula 1.
Right, because his dad bought the podium.
They don't just hand those out.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I know. We'll get into it a little bit more.
Yeah, we will.
We gotta defend our own a little bit.
Not even defending him, just kind of putting the facts out there.
Yeah, true.
I mean, I'd say the same if a British guy bought his son a team and put him in there, and he had his super license and he competed and won a podium. I'd say the same thing. There's nothing wrong with it. It happens everywhere. It happens in every sport. It happens all around the world. Stuff like that happens. Sometimes you just get the short end of the stick. You don't have $1 billion dad. That'd be sick, and you're not a great F1 driver. Like, I wish I was too, but I'm not.
I know.
That's why I'm here.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I know. I just saw it in the YouTube. When you take that dive into the dark pool that is the YouTube comment section.
True, yeah.
I saw they were like really aggressive. I was like, whoa, okay, I got to step away from this. We appreciate the comments, but keep it civil, ladies and gentlemen. We don't have to. Like, I think one guy was like,
there's a lot of arguing in the comment section.
Yeah,
I mean, like,
somebody just made a basic comment, and then somebody
replied
him. They're like, "You idiot!"
I know.
I'm like, just relax, but you wouldn't talk to somebody like that.
This is a nice community we have here at the BackMarkers F1 Show. We're all a nice, fun family,
Yeah, we're all friends.
Yeah, but you have different opinions. But that's okay.
Yeah, keep them coming though. We like the
we love the feedback. It's fun.
All right, Tyler. I think that's pretty much it for week 1 of testing. Week 2 of testing is currently obviously underway. And then, after that, I think we're looking at about 2 or 3 weeks, and Australia will be here.
Yeah, we'll have our preview, we'll have our recap, and we'll have also our 2019 season preview. So let's break this down, what we got coming in the next few weeks.
Go for it.
We got week 2 testing, which will be coming out, obviously, once week 2 testing is over. So next week. We'll have our F1 season preview, which will be coming probably a week and a half after that. And then we'll be right into our normal routine with Australia preview. That'll be coming out probably, I don't know, let's say
week before the race.
Or
week of the race.
Week of the race, let's say. So it's either the Thursday or Friday. And then we'll have a race recap. And we'll get that turned around as quick as we can for you guys, because you guys love the race recaps right away. We'll do our best. It should be a fun year. I'm really excited. We're almost at 500 subscribers, which is a huge milestone for us. I don't think we ever thought we'd get this far this quick. obviously that's like our next goal is 500, and we're close there. So thank you guys so much for subscribing. And keep sharing it with your friends, because obviously our goal is to get 1,000, so we can start getting a little bit of money and start pushing up even more content for you guys, because we'll have a little more coin to play with to go to different events and stuff like that.
And if we get to that 1,000, maybe we can start mass producing.
Oh yeah,
these beautiful
backmarker
limited edition, the BackMarkers F1 Show. Tyler, we're looking at a 12-ounce ceramic.
It's really nice.
Gold-plated.
It's not gold-plated. That'd be
Not
sick,
yet.
though. Yeah, if you guys are interested in these mugs, let us know, because if there's enough interest, maybe we can start pushing some out online or something like that.
Coming to a store near you.
They're really, really nice. Obviously, it's your typical mug, but they just look phenomenal.
Yeah,
they kind of remind me of the old Haas look.
Yeah, true. It is a little bit like
really
that.
Nice.
Yeah.
So yeah, a lot of interesting stuff, a lot of fun stuff this year, and of course, as we say always, make sure you share with your friends. Give us your feedback. What do you guys think of the new car launches? Who's your favorite car livery this year? And any takes from week 1 testing? We want to hear them down below, and we'll talk about them next week.
And if you got any comments, suggestions about our podcast, and maybe some things
what do you guys
want to
hear this season?
Yeah, for sure. Drop that in the comments.
Yeah, we haven't really talked about that, but
well, that'll be on our preview.
Yeah, it'll be in our preview.
When Shaker's here, all three of us will sort of lay out like you said, the plan for the whole season and what to expect. But
year 2, it's underway. Well, season 2 for us.
That's right. You still got it. All that was perfect. You didn't miss anything there.
What did I miss?
No, I'm not saying you didn't miss anything.
Oh, I thought you were being sarcastic.
No, I was being serious. Like you're still seems like you never left.
Well, I don't know. I'm just like I'm like Alonso. I'm always ready to show up on race day. I'm ready to show up on race day.
Awesome. Yeah. Good to know. And we'll be posting all of our dates and when things will be released on our Twitter.
Yeah.
We're also on Facebook and Instagram at TBM F1 Show.
And if you didn't follow us on Instagram during the car launch, Racing Point car launch, you missed some pretty cool content. So recommend going over there to see what's going on.
Yep. And all of that can be found on the homepage of our YouTube channel. There's direct links to all that, so very easy to find. And like Tyler said, just hit that subscribe button. You won't be sorry.
No, you won't be. Some fun content coming to you guys every week. Well, every race week.
That's right. Final thoughts?
No, not any. Let's see what we see in week 2.
All right.
Don't take week 1 too seriously. Let's see what we see in week 2.
And before we go, week 2 of testing afterwards, we'll be having on Rob Watts, who is a freelance F1 journalist. He's right now in Barcelona, hands-on, on the ground in Barcelona, looking at testing. So we're going to get him on after testing is done to get his thoughts.
Check out his Twitter to get some updates. You guys up Twitter up there.
It is at Rob Watts F1. So he posts a lot of great tweets throughout the week about F1 testing. So make sure you give him a follow if you want a direct news source on the ground in Barcelona.
Yeah, because we can't afford that. So
not yet. We got to 1,000 though.
Hey, no, but I mean, we're getting there.
Yeah, we're getting there. All right, thanks everybody for joining us. We'll be back next week. Enjoy week 2 of testing.